Visas, another really big issue for us because I showed in the video that there is kind of 4 countries where almost 50% of tourism will come from. Only one of those countries, Brazil, you don't need a visa to come to the UK. Actually, this is last year's figures. I should have updated it before I came on. 2012, we got 179,000 visitors from China. It's kind of very good because of the amount they spend is 3 times the average. However, when you look at 179,000 that we got last year versus the 83 million that travelled overseas, you can see that we're getting a very, very, very small percentage of the total outcome from China. Last 5 years, outbound tourism increased by 25 million per annum. It's just enormous. And over the last 5 years, that figure of 3,000 is just relating to last year's 149, but it just shows you that in the last 5 years, increase of 25 million. In the last 5 years, up to 2012, we increased by just 3,000. There is something kind of hideously wrong with our visa system. The reason for that, the reason for that is basically if you're what we call a naive tourist and that you're your first real time overseas out of the country, which is what Chinese are at the moment. They're the typical tourist who wants to do kind of 5 countries in 5 days, and if it's Tuesday it must be Paris, and if it's Wednesday it must be Rome. It's tick box stuff that they're doing, which is kind of fine. But because they want to do as many countries in as many days, if you have a European tour that starts in the UK, you've got to get 2 visas because we're not in the Schengen group for Europe. So the Schengen area covers 26 countries. Get 1 visa to go to them all, versus kind of 1 visa to come to the UK. So if the tour group flies into Heathrow, spends a few days in London, then kind of takes the Channel Tunnels through to Paris, they have to get 2 visas, one for us, one for them. Now the problem with getting the UK visa, if you're Chinese, is not only do you have to kind of stump up with a slightly different set of information that you need to get your Schengen visa, you also have to get a biometric passport, which basically is a visa. What that means is you've got to take yourself to a processing centre where someone takes your fingerprints, scans your retina, and these details get put onto the visa so you can be tracked. That's a hell of an imposition to go to, especially because everyone in your group has to do it. So if you're coming with your family, for example, you've got to get the kids out of schools and you've got to take them to the visa processing centre, which are open during kind of working hours, so you can't do it on the weekend. And of course there's the whole thing of, if you're earning very good money, like the number of millionaires I showed you from China, to be taken along to a centre to have your fingerprints taken is really treating you like a criminal rather than a valued kind of tourist in the UK who's welcomed in open arms because you're helping the economy. So what happens is that basically all the travel from China to the UK is via tour operators. And the tour operators look at the hassles and they just think to themselves, you know what we'll do, we'll put out a brochure this year and we'll get all our tours for Europe starting in Schiphol or Charles de Gaulle, and they'll just go through and we'll take out the UK component of it because it'll sell better, there's less hassle for our customers. And although Chinese spend a huge amount while they're here, they're actually very price sensitive when it comes to the package itself. They will really economise on their flights and on their accommodation, on their meals. But then they'll go down to Oxford Street and they will buy every Gucci, Prada, Burberry item on display. I was talking to someone from Selfridges yesterday about this, and she was saying that the groups of tourists they had through Selfridges last year, their average spend was £10,000, and they had a student who was over here studying, who had just spent £36,000 on a ring for his girlfriend. I mean, there is a kind of enormous wealth coming out of China at the moment. And yet, these are we go, yes, for a girl. Yeah, so kind of that's the prize. We're looking at kind of what we could do. Guaranteed turnaround times for visa processing. Compatibility machine requirements, helplines. One thing the Americans are even looking to do, which is really interesting, is having sales of visas during low season. So kind of visitors come at particular times of year. You've got all these visa processing staff sitting around twiddling their thumbs the rest of the time. Well, during those periods, why not have visa sales? So it's kind of taking the visa processing service from being a service where the primary purpose is to keep out the bad guys, to being a primary kind of weapon in promoting the UK and getting people to come here. And it's a bit of a kind of a mind flip for some of the Home Office staff, but this is the type of approach we're trying to do. The other thing we're really working on is the Schengen countries are meant to be bringing in biometric visas by the end of this year. They've procrastinated for years now because they know it would kind of really hurt their inbound trade from China. They're maybe finally getting around to it this year. The UK has a series of 12 visa processing centres in China already set up. The Schengen countries don't have any. What we would really love to happen is that the UK government kind of signs agreements with the Schengen countries that they can use our facilities to process people getting Schengen visas. And the great thing about this would be if you're a Chinese visitor and you want to go on a trip, well, then you've got one set of documentation, go along to one place, have your fingerprints iris scanned just the once. The information gets pinged off to a Schengen country and to the UK office, and you get two visas at the same time. And that would kind of greatly reduce the problem that you have